there are other researchers in the alternative history field who've gotten into the Grail mysteries and the Jesus mysteries and things like that. It's not my main field.
Right, okay. But I just wanted to ask you about that. I just thought that would be neat to talk to them.
But there are a lot of researchers who've gone into this who feel that that's the story, that Jesus was married to Mary Magdalene and that she and her child went to England at some point. There's a whole history about that that's told by researchers into the Grail mysteries and Jesus mysteries there in England that I became familiar with when I was in Glastonbury.
Fascinating. You have a very interesting life of travel and discovery and research and writing. I feel you have a very blessed life.
Well, thank you. I look at it like that. Of course, it's been something I've been doing all my life. As I said, I was brought up in a family that was always traveling. I was always being exposed to new ideas. So it must be my destiny to do this sort of thing.
I noticed in a PR release about your work, was it Louis Leakey who put you down, who wrote something terrible about you?
Richard Leakey.
Richard Leakey.
Son.
I could not believe what he said about you. Can you tell the audience?
Well, it was typical of what I would call the fundamentalist Darwinist reaction to my work. He said, your book is full of nonsense. I can't remember his exact words.
He said rubbish or something like that.
Your book is rubbish. It wouldn't be taken seriously by anyone but a fool or something like that. So we actually put that on the cover of the book, and it actually got a lot of attention and sold a lot of copies. So
that was really, really shocking.
Because I think there are various reactions. There are positive and negative reactions. And on the cover of one of my books, we put those positive and negative reactions, including the statement by Richard Leakey, and it actually did help sell a lot of books. So
I think the more mean-spirited the reaction, the more you got the tiger by the tail. There's something that's being touched there that's ringing true.
Yeah, it touches a nerve, definitely, especially among this group that I call the fundamentalist Darwinist. It's really sometimes extraordinary to see, the lengths that they'll go to try to discredit something when really they're just discrediting themselves. I think what Richard Leakey said says more about him than it says about me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there anything else you'd like to say today?
Well, I would just like people to think very seriously about these things. I respect intellectual freedom, however. I respect people's right to have whatever opinion they want of me, but I would just thank everybody for taking the time to listen, and if what I've said makes sense to anybody out there, I hope they'll pursue it by having a look at some of my books, and I just thank them for listening.
Michael, it was a pleasure having you on today. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking with, listening to, and learning from Michael Cremo. He is the author of Human Devolution, Forbidden Archaeology, The Hidden History of the Human Race, and the new book out, The Forbidden Archaeologist. I'd like to read what Graham Hancock, author of Fingerprints of the Gods, and many wonderful books said about you as we close today. He says, I believe this book to be one of the landmark intellectual achievements of the late 20th century. It will take more conservative scholars a long while, probably many years, to come to terms with the revelation it contains. It is my great honor to be talking with the Columbo of archaeology. Thank you so much, Michael Cremo.
Thank you, Kim.